Hello, everyone. My name is Deontay Butler, and today I'll be doing my TED Talk assignment. My topic from my TED Talk is segregation. Segregation is the action or state of setting people or setting someone or something apart from others. In simple terms, separation of people into different groups based on characteristics like race, religion, or gender. Now, I don't think I really agree with segregation myself. I don't really see segregation in any way, any form today, nowadays, but there are still many forms of it. In the poem I Too, I felt hurt about the example of segregation in the text. In the TED Talk, I hope to explore the importance of and impact we have when we separate people. We can get the word out by supporting anti-racist organizations. You can support businesses of color. You can speak to people directly and advocate for changes to policies. Now, this evidence from I2 that I have just clipped, and I'll read it out. Tomorrow I'll be at the table when company comes. Say to me, no, nobody will dare say to me, eat in the kitchen. Lines 8 to 13, page 883. The connection to this with segregation is the phrase being told to eat in the kitchen when company comes show the exclusion of African Americans, which is segregation in America from the past. Another example of segregation in the past is the murder of Emmett Till in 1955. Now, 1955, during when Emmett was alive, there was unwritten code of racial interaction, racial etiquette. There was a such thing as brutal retribution. And then there was also things like all white, all male jury. And there's segregated courtrooms, biased local authorities. There was eyewitness intimidations and equitable 66 minutes and one juror. Now, the reason this connects to the topic of segregation is there are some rules and things that was enforced in years ago, like in the year 1955, and it just shows how horrible segregation really was and how greater white people, like the great white supremacy or even the great white in a whole, had controlled black people in the past. Now, a good example of segregation definitely in present, is from this evidence from times.com. Areas may appear to be integrated because they are home to many different racial groups, when in fact, those groups live completely apart. The city of Detroit is 80% black. For instance, while Grosse Pointe, a suburb that shares a border with the city, is 90% white. You really cannot name any significant social injustice problem in the United States that's not undergirded by residential housing segregation. Detroit is the most segregated city in the U.S. This article connects to segregation because this article is a clear representation of not only residential segregation, but also the separation between people, racial groups in diverse metropolitan areas. My claim is, I used to think segregation was only the separation between two different groups of people, just like black and white people, some time ago. And it's only caused by the hating of each other. That's what I thought before. Besides, they're most likely the most talked about groups in the U.S. history. But now I am thinking that segregation is also not only just rules that are meant to keep black and white people from each other, but also a problem with residency and separation between different people in different areas. In the past, segregation looked like strict rules, laws, even unwritten ones, to stop people from being around each other. And in many ways, I feel segregation can affect education, jobs, communities, and many individuals. Even though modern day present, we don't have to or see much segregation, there's still some form of it still being practiced or still getting into the system. A good example of segregation today, according to the time.com, 80% of Detroit is black people. But around the same border, Grosse Pointe has 90% white people. This another that contribute is more diverse metropolitan areas, full with different races. Now, some things might not be as true for the future because the population sizes, different people in the area, rules, diversity in the area. It could be many factors. If we don't get rid of segregation in the future, it could lead to community separations, family separations over empowerment, and disorganization. Okay, and will be the end of my TED Talk on segregation. Thank you.